bbc.co.uk/tees. Yes, that was number 1 in the charts on the 23rd of November 1963, when the very first episode of Doctor Who was broadcast. Doctor Who fan Neil Perryman and non-Doctor Who fan Sue Perryman have been watching the series together from the start. Well, not from 1963, they started a couple of months ago. But it might feel like it's been since 1963. But yeah, they've been blogging an attempt to watch all of Doctor Who from the start. It's become something of a sensation. It's called Adventures with the Wife in Space is the title of the blog. Stephen Moffat, the current boss of Doctor Who, is a big fan of it and has been contributing to it and tweeting and whatnot. And yeah, Neil and Sue are here with me in the studio. Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Bob.
Thanks for coming in. And welcome back, Neil, because we have done this a couple of times before in kind of your role as Tacky on TV.
Thanks for having me back again, Bob.
No, it's a pleasure as always. How on earth did this start? Whose idea was it? Did you owe Sue some kind of favour? Or no, it must have been the other way around, wasn't it? Surely.
It was the other way around. Sue made me live in a caravan for 3 years. So I thought it was payback time. And I was reading a book called Running Through Corridors by Toby Hadoke and Rob Sherman.
It's a very good book. I mean, they did the same kind of thing, didn't they?
Yes, it's the same thing, and it's a marathon viewing. And I've never done it myself before. There's loads of Hartnells and Troughtons I'd never watched. So I thought, I'm going to do it again. But every time I've done it in the past, I've never actually got past about 5th story. So I thought the way to keep me on track was to get someone else to do it with me. And sitting next to me was my wife.
Nobody else offered.
Nobody else offered. And I thought, and another thing I thought about was Doctor Who magazine Time Team, where they did a similar thing where they get a bunch of fans and they watch the programme from the beginning. Yeah. But their problem was they would pretend that they didn't know what was happening. Yes. So you'd get the then current editor Clayton Hickman pretending he didn't know the Daleks were about to show up, which I always thought was kind of weird. So I thought, wouldn't it be good to get someone who'd never actually seen these episodes? And since I have my wife who hasn't seen any of the original episodes and has no interest in them, I thought it'd be a new perspective.
That's the brilliant thing about the blog, is that you're not a fan at all, Sue.
No.
What is your background with Doctor Who? Did you see any of it when you were a kid?
Do you know, Bob, I can't remember really because my memory's bad, but I obviously must have seen some of it at some point because I do remember having a Dalek outfit.
Right.
So my mum... No.
Me and Neil never had Dalek outfits.
I remember it being red and it was plastic and it was like a PVC and it came in a box. Okay. But it wasn't the sort of Dalek costume that Neil would have liked me to have, obviously. It was one that my mum had bought me for Christmas, obviously. And I remember this being in the house. Now, whether it was for me or whether it was for my older brother, I can't remember, but I remember it being there. You
clearly had a little bit of interest, but you're not a fan. You couldn't have remembered individual episodes or anything like that.
God, no. But I mean, obviously, anybody knows of BBC. It's Doctor Who. You know about it. Anybody who doesn't know about it, you have to know about it, don't you?
So, how long have you been doing this for now?
Since February.
Is it that long?
So that implies that it's kind of flown by for you, Sue.
But you know, the thing is, Bob, when Neil asked me to do it, I was a bit, but then I thought about it. I thought, well, he said we'll do it over tea on an evening. And usually, that time of the evening, Neil's either on his computer or he's on his iPhone or iPad or whatever. So we never got to talk to each other very much after work and what have you. So I thought it would be a really good opportunity for us to spend a little bit of quality time together. That's what I thought. And I thought, we'll get into the swing of this. But really, he'll forget about it in a couple of weeks.
Right.
He'll just do it for a couple of weeks. He'll get sick and that'll be it. But it's actually gone on and on, so... here we are.
So was the intention when you started to make a blog out of this, or did that come later on?
It was the intention, because I was just about to relaunch Tacky on TV again. Yeah. It's in its 10th year now.
Right.
And I was looking for something regular that to sort of hang the whole thing on. So I thought a marathon rewatch would be the way to go. And I was originally going to do Blake 7, and I thought Doctor Who, and I thought there's nothing original to say about Doctor Who until Sue came along. And we just started writing it up, and I didn't expect it to catch on as quickly as it did, but I think people latched onto the fact that Sue was saying some things about sacred cows that fans wouldn't normally say, and that made it interesting, I think. And she comes out with some funny stuff as well.
But you have been very disparaging about some episodes that fans hold very dear, and I think that's the kind of thing that's it's almost like a breath of fresh air for fans. Maybe some of whom themselves have thought, well, actually these episodes aren't that good, but we can't say that because we're meant to be fans.
Yeah, you see, I've got nothing to lose. I don't care. I really don't care. I couldn't. I've got to say, I do like the Matt Smith stuff. I think Matt Smith's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I like David Tennant. And I like Christopher Eccleston. But that's probably says something about me at my age and where I am. When I was young, obviously Hartnell and Troughton, I would have probably seen them. I would have been about, I would have been quite young. But obviously they would have been on the TV. But you would have remembered them as being really old men and, like, not being very nice. It's just been, you know, really old men. So but now it's a bit different.
Killer question, what have you made of it so far? You've finished the William Hartnell run, you've done all of William Hartnell's episodes now, and you've just started on Patrick Troughton. What are your impressions overall of the first 3 years of the programme?
Ooh, black and white. It's very, well... For me, I think I was surprised at how much it wasn't a kid's show. I was expecting it to be a lot more light-hearted than it actually is.
It's quite dark in places, isn't it?
It's very dark in places. It's disturbing in some episodes, and yeah, I was quite shocked at that. I was quite surprised at William Hartnell and how, and just because I've been watching it, and obviously Neil's been showing me DVD extras after we've watched.
Oh my God!
I know. Yeah, he has, right? Only after we've watched the episode, of course, and sort of knowing what he went through and how he was treated by his employees in the BBC and things.
And he wasn't a well man towards the end of his run. He wasn't a well man,
so I didn't like him at the beginning at all, but I've sort of grown to like him. But in terms of the whole the series, I'm sort of liking it, but I'm sort of not liking certain parts about it. I hate the recons, but yet I do like them in some ways.
Yeah, we should say some of these episodes don't exist in the BBC archives anymore.
And that hasn't stopped us.
Yeah, but fans have reconstructed these using still pictures and little bits of animation and whatnot, and you've watched them, but, you know, you have literally watched every single episode.
We have, yeah. All the way. I mean, we weren't going to do that originally. Originally, I was just going to show a one to get a flavour of it, and I think it was Rob Sherman on the blog sort of threw the gauntlet down, really, and we sort of picked it up, and now we're sort of trapped in this cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with Patrick Troughton is the first 12 episodes he's in, don't exist.
Yeah.
So we were having to wade through all the... And it's really hard for Sue to get a handle on Troughton.
Yeah.
You can't see him move.
Although, at the beginning, I did say, why don't we watch a Troughton as you know, a live moving figure, so I can sort of see how he's playing the part and try to get a grip of his character. And he said, no, can't do that.
No, you're not allowed. Yeah, that's jumping ahead.
Yeah, but, you know, Stephen Moffat, what did he say?
Same thing.
Same thing. See, me and the Moffat.
If Stephen Moffat told you to jump off a cliff, would you do that?
Hey, me and the Moffat like that.
We're not doing it.
Well, no, we're not doing it.
We've only got 2 more episodes to go before we see him move.
We might as well just do it, mightn't we? But the problem with recons is that you sort of see still images and they sort of stay in your memory. So when I think of Troughton now, I think of, like, these really heavy lines and this big hat that he wears, but I can't remember him, like, you know.
It's funny, I've got a lot of friends who watched the Troughton era at the time, and I was too young to have seen it in the 60s, but friends that I know almost uniformly say they were scared of Patrick Troughton's face, especially in the opening credits. He's quite a stern-looking fella and quite a scary-looking chap.
He looks weathered.
He does, yes.
Yeah.
But
he looks like a drunk weathered.
Has it been difficult on occasion? Have there been nights when you just haven't wanted to watch it at all?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have moods for certain things, don't you? And if you're not in the mood, you're not in the mood. But sometimes when it's a really long... You know, 8-part, 12. He doesn't tell me the 12 part. He keeps telling me the 6.
That's it, because you don't know how many episodes.
Then he adds a bit more on.
Right.
It's like a kid going on the journey. Are we there yet? Yeah, we're just 10 minutes away. It's 10 hours. It's a bit like that. But I do get through them, and sometimes I can't be bothered, and sometimes I sort of really enjoy them.
Yeah.
I've struggled more than she has, to be fair, because I know what's coming.
Yes.
You know, I know this is terrible, and I have to sit through this. You know, and then I have to sit and write it up as well. Whereas you're oblivious.
Yeah, I can just go to bed.
I've struggled more than Sue has. Yeah. She's kept me on track.
Yeah.
Do foot rubs play a part in this at all?
They do. Yeah, a little bit of blackmail. I have to rub her feet now any time a Terry Nation story appears. Yeah, she doesn't like Terry Nation very much.
Yeah, he is your nemesis, really, isn't he?
I know. I shouldn't say that, really, because he's probably a nice
It's a bit late now.
Oh, yeah. Isn't he?
Oh, yes,
see, that's why I can never be a fan.
I'm going to play a couple of tracks, if that's all right, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more. I'm going to play... Do you know what? I do these things. I'm not sure I'll line my next track up. I've been so excited by the chat we've been having, but I'll do that now. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Apologise to anybody who tuned in expecting a professional radio programme tonight.
Are you looking forward to the Underwater Menace tonight, love?
Don't start! Are you looking forward to the Underwater Menace
Is that
tonight?
what we're watching tonight, is it?
Have you got one to watch tonight when you get here?
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought you did them over tea time.
We normally do, but we made
an exception.
That we thought we'd talk to you first, because...
Oh, bless you. This is from the new album by Dana Nana Nakroyd, and the album is out now. This is called All Us Authors. bbc.co.uk/tees. Still got Neil and Sue Perryman here with me in the studio. They are the geniuses behind the Doctor Who blog, which is called Adventures with the Wife in Space. Neil is a huge Doctor Who fan, and Sue isn't. But together, they are blogging their attempt to watch all of Doctor Who from the start, from 1963 onwards. And Stephen Moffat, current boss of Doctor Who, is a big fan of the blog as well. How did that come about? Did you point it towards him, or did he see it and contact you?
Oh dear.
You clearly contacted him.
I pimped it out to him, and went to bed that night. Didn't get a reply. I thought, you just ignore that. And then got up the next morning. It turned out he'd been reading it all the time. So he'd been reading it from the beginning anyway. So I didn't have to plug it. Really.
That was it. It was lovely because you tweeted each other, and he tweeted back and said, "Yeah, it's hilarious."
Yeah, and he was fascinated by Sue's reaction to. He wanted to know what Sue considered. Had we reached the point where she considered it to be real Doctor Who yet?
Right.
And the answer was no, but we have to let him know when we get there, apparently. So
well, the point at which it feels like Doctor Who is now?
Yes.
Right, okay.
More sort of generic Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's still a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when I think of Doctor Who now... Now, for Matt Smith, you want that hero, you want the person who you can trust, the person that's always going to be there and get you out the problems. Where Hartnell has never done that for me yet, and neither has Troughton up to now.
Okay.
So I haven't felt like there's been a Doctor there that I would want to travel with.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you had any adverse reaction from fans? Because fans can be very defensive and very proprietorial about things that they love, and I count myself as a Doctor Who fan, and I'm exactly the same. You've obviously been very scathing about some episodes. Do you read the comments on the blog, or
No.
you don't at all?
No, I don't care.
I shield her from the comments on the blog.
I mean, I'm sure nobody's going to agree with everything I say, and that's fine. I mean, I'm doing this for Neil.
They're Doctor Who fans, and
yeah.
they're not going to agree with anything anybody says.
Exactly. I'd be surprised if they did.
Yeah.
So no, I'm doing it because Neil wanted to do it, and I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
So far.
They've been okay so far.
Has it been all right?
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't agree with her, they find it amusing that she takes such an opposite view to that they take, and they find that very amusing. Occasionally, you get some really pedantic people who come on and just are really pedantic about certain facts and figures, which I can't really be bothered with. It's more of a personal thing rather than an analytical thing. But everyone's been really supportive up till now.
It's probably because they're slightly scared of you too.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm surprised they can understand me.
So how far are you going? Are you going to hit the new series at all, or is it purely an attempt to watch?
Well, Neil says no.
Oh, hang on.
Neil says no, but I think I would like to, but by then I might not want to, might I?
Yeah.
So it just depends on how I feel, but I would like to.
At the moment, she would like to.
And when you think about how long it's going to take us to finish?
About a year, I think.
About a year.
Yeah.
So in a year... Oh, I might be sick by then, mightn't I?
The plan at the moment is to go up to Paul McGann.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't count, does he?
Yes, he does count.
No, imagine how many comments you're going to get on your blog now.
Does he really count?
Yes, he does count.
He does count,
You're remembering Queer as Folk, aren't you? A scene in Queer as Folk where they said Paul McGann doesn't count. And you remember that, but you don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Have you seen the Paul McGann movie at all? Did you watch that when it was on?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Neil's nodding vigorously.
Yes.
Clearly he forced you to watch
That's why I think he doesn't count.
All right.
You enjoyed it?
I did, actually, yeah.
It was a long time ago.
All right, got favourite story so far? What's the one that you've really loved?
Oh,
you can say the one with...
Time Meddler.
The what?
The Time Meddler. The one with the monk.
Oh, the monk. I was going to say the Mad Monk, but not the Mad Monk.
This
is why I can't remember anything. It would be the Time Meddler, but which I would call the Mad Monk.
Yeah, which is Peter Butterworth, isn't it?
He's good, isn't he?
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a really enjoyable episode.
See, when that name comes up, you think, I'm in for a good one.
Yes.
That's good.
The one that you never ever want to see again in a million. Which is weird because the Celestial Toymaker is a 60s story that was considered in really high regard, I think, for decades, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But no, it's
not for me.
And the Gunfighters was considered to be the worst story
Loved
ever.
the Gunfighters.
Yeah.
Loved the Gunfighters. That was great.
I think the Gunfighters is it's got a little bit of the feel of the current series about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny and it's a little bit of a send-up.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Bit of music, I like that.
It's got Linda Barron singing in it. What more?
Is that who she is? Well, anyway.
Yes. Has he not told you you that?
He did. I just forgot.
Open all hours.
Open all hours, just forgot.
Fantastic. Well, look, good luck with the quest. I'll let you head back and watch, is it the Underwater Menace? You're watching tonight.
Joy.
It's a classic. You'll enjoy this one.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Keep us posted with how you get on with it. You'll have to come in again sometime. We'll have an update in a few months' time and find out how far you've got and whether your sanity is still intact. Do you want to plug the site? Where can people find it?
You can find it at Tachyon TV. That's Tachyon, Tachyon, if you're not a geek. -tv.co.uk. If you just type Adventure with the Wife in Space in Google, you'll get there.
All right, okay. I'm going to play... I know when you've come in before. Did we play a John Pertwee B-side once?
I think we did, and I loved it.
I toyed with the idea of bringing that in again tonight. Seeing as you're on the Troughton era, I'm going to play a Fraser Hines thing. That's all right.
Even better.
This is BBC Tees with me, Bob Fisher. Thank you to Neil and Sue Perryman for coming in. This is a Fraser Hines single from 1968. This is Who's the Doctor?